morning, Greyhounds. I'm Reagan Markland.
And I'm Morgan Millay. Reagan, I am definitely looking forward to this weekend.
Absolutely. I'm going to Chicago and can't wait. Do you have any fun plans?
I'm actually staying in this weekend. I'm looking forward to a break from all of my schoolwork.
Absolutely. Well, we have a full show in store for you today, but first, please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. Birthday goes out to Grant Barretto, Carl Bowles, Molly Kai,
Jenna Carter, Hannah Decker, Roma Stis,
Lucas Garrison, Raymond Gong, Ben Gosselin,
Ben Cussell, Maggie McGill, Maddox Mylott,
Jacob Olizik, Jalen Black, Michael Swan. Happy birthday, guys.
This past weekend, the Carmel High School tennis team took the win at state. We send it over to Griffin Gonzalez with more.
Hey, thanks so much, Morgan. As she just said, a special weekend in Greyhound sports last week as the Carmel tennis team won their 10th overall state championship. Carmel Athletics as a whole picked up number 138. Yeah, 138. And this Carmel tennis team finished with their second state championship in a row. Guys, first of all, congratulations. Thanks so much for being on. Drew, Michael, Patrick Fletchall, both seniors. First of all, Drew, tell me, how does it feel to finally get this win at state?
Oh, it was awesome. It was just such a great honor for Carmel High School and great for our tennis team. So.
Now, it wasn't an easy road to get there. You guys had to go through North Central, and then you had to face off against Park Tudor. How were you guys able to face that adversity, face that type of challenge, and still wind up with a state title?
We just stayed focused throughout season and practiced hard and always did what Coach said.
Now, Patrick, you actually aren't done yet. You have individual state this week, obviously. You're really excited to go and compete this Saturday. Tell me a little bit about what you expect at your competition there, and how do you think you're going to do?
Well, I'm expecting some tough competition. It's the top 8 kids in the state. Give a couple people, and I'm just looking forward to hopefully repeating like last year.
Yeah, you did win last year, obviously. Congratulations. But have these guys been preparing you? I know they have, right?
Yeah, it's been a tough week in practice, even after winning state. We've had good practices preparing me for this weekend.
Awesome. Good to hear, guys. Congratulations. Now, that stays with me, right? You're leaving that for me. Okay. I just want to be sure. Guys, once again, congratulations on your second straight title. These guys are phenomenal. Haven't lost a game since 2015. That's really impressive. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Griffin. Congratulations on that second consecutive state title, boys. We can't wait to see how you keep up the record in the coming years. NHS SRT tutoring is available in SRT and E117. Please see Ms. Johnson if you need an SRT pass. This is the last day to submit your rosters to Nicole Lowry if your group would like to be scheduled for a yearbook photo. Reminder, AP Fringe students going on the field trip to IU tomorrow, please meet at the main circle entrance at 1 o'clock. Please bring money for dinner. Here at CHTV, we have been excited to see what everyone has to say on Instagram using hashtag #FreeThoughtDay from last week. Thank you to everyone who participated. Now, a new social media movement is emerging. We now send it over to Ben Heber with an update on the #MeToo hashtag.
Good morning, Greyhounds. I'm Ben Heber here with your morning news segment for CHTV. Well, if you've been following social media trends lately, you've probably seen the hashtag #MeToo, which has now gained over 67,000 responses on Twitter and Facebook in just 5 days of existence. The movement, started by actress Alyssa Milano, aims to bring awareness to the growing issue of sexual harassment in the United States and around the globe. #MeToo has been supported by iconic celebrities like Ellen DeGeneres, Lady Gaga, and even male figures like Javier Munoz and Alex Winter. With countless men and women sharing their stories on social media, it's plain to see that sexual harassment is a widespread epidemic in the United States. According to the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, an estimated 41,000 people experience sexual harassment in the United States every year, but only 12,000 ever officially report being harassed. This could be attributed to the less than 3% of successful cases in the U.S. justice courts nationwide with sexual harassment. And with the success of the hashtag, Milano hopes that the Twitter movement will give victims a voice, enabling them to say no more and ultimately put an end to the ongoing issue of sexual assault and harassment worldwide. And in Indiana news, internet retailer Amazon Incorporated is looking to potentially establish a new headquarters in Indianapolis this coming year. If the plan were to be approved, the company would offer over 50,000 high-paying jobs over the next 10 to 15 years to Indiana Hoosiers, which would secure the job market in Indy while also distinguishing the city as a national tech hub. With these benefits also comes a dramatic increase in both city traffic congestion and the demand for housing. Indiana officials speculate that these factors would negatively impact the city and could ultimately break the deal with a $470 billion company. Despite these challenges, Governor Eric Holcomb remains optimistic at the prospect of partnering with Amazon, stating Indiana would be the, quote, perfect partner for Amazon's expansion. Well, this concludes your morning news segment. For CHTV, this has been Ben Heber signing off.
Thanks, Ben. This is the last day to register for the SAT prep class for tests on days November 4th or December 2nd. Registration form is due in the counseling office and can be found on the CHS website and in the counseling center. The cost for the 2-day session class is $30. Registration for the Ghosts and Goblins 5K is open. Go to the Carmel Education Foundation website to register. Now we send it over to Charlie Breedlove with our entertainment update.
Thank you, Morgan. This is Charlie Breedlove with your entertainment update. Students at Carmel High School have many hidden talents that they showcase outside of school. One of these talents is art. Joe Golmer, a sophomore here at Carmel High School, has been showcasing his skills lately with his impressive paintings. CHTV's Annie Ruiz sat down with him to get a closer look on his love for art.
Hi, my name is Joe Golmer. I'm a sophomore at Carmel High School, and I like to paint and draw. What got me into art? I used to take drawing classes in middle school, and that just led me to start drawing and painting at home, and I had more creative ideas and decided to explore that by painting pictures and selling them to kids that are friends of mine, and just had to get interested in that. I recently started an art account on Instagram where people can contact me through text message or email and DM, and they can ask for personal paintings to be done, where I'll just do personal paintings of what they want of a picture that they send it to me, and I charge them based on the size of the canvas and how hard the detail of the painting is. And I just think it's a good way to make extra money, and I had fun doing it. So Peter Max is probably the famous artist that inspires me, just because I saw him at an art show in Zionsville and we did a meet and greet. And I like all his paintings that he incorporates cool colors as well, and he just has a cool style of art and has a good way of painting, and I think he's an interesting guy. My favorite style of art is painting album covers and faces of people, and I like to use inverted colors and just incorporate a lot of colors so it brings out the picture, and somewhat of an abstract art, which really I think is interesting. My favorite painting that I've ever done was probably my first one, which is the Flatbush Zombies painting with the 3 artists in the group. And I like it because I just added a bunch of inverted colors, and I think it looks cool when I put the 2 canvases together and the faces match up. As I get older, I would like to pursue art by attending the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, and after that, just maybe working at a art studio, and producing more artwork and selling my products as I make them. I would also like to just go on with that, not even if working at a studio, and creating it on my own at home and whenever I can.
Very impressive stuff. It's always great to see students following their passion. This has been your entertainment update. Now back to you, Morgan and Reagan.
Thank you, Charlie, for that entertainment update. It's amazing to see all of the art CHS students are making.
Definitely. I know that I couldn't make art like that. CHS students, want to build a more professional, positive social media brand? Need help and not sure where to start? Stop by the attendance window or the Freshman Center office for a pass to a workshop being held on Wednesday, November 1st in the Media Center classrooms 1 and 2 during SRT. Useful tips and snacks will be provided. Space is limited, so pick up your pass today.
CHS seniors, the free application for Federal Student Aid, or FAFSA, opened on October 1st. All seniors planning to attend a 2-year, 4-year, or trade school next year are highly encouraged to complete the FAFSA to maximize all possible financial aid opportunities. The FAFSA is available online and it is free. The Indiana deadline to submit the FAFSA is April 15th, but some schools may require you to apply earlier.
The only college representative for today is 930 DePauw University School of Music.
We apologize for the technical difficulties earlier. Now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence.
Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. Now let's kick it over to some in-studio and video announcements.
Hey, Carmel High School, Ghosts and Goblins 5K registration is now open. You can sign up by going online to Carmel Education Foundation's website. Make sure to sign up before the price goes up. This is a great way to spend time with your friends and family, so don't miss the opportunity.
Hello, Carmel. This week marks the beginning of what I say is the best time of the year. With the holidays inching closer, it's imperative that as a school, we are doing everything to make sure that everyone can enjoy them. Care to Share is an event that Senate organizes every year that helps aid families who are 120% below the poverty line. However, we cannot provide these families with presents without your help. Today, Senate will be coming around to all of your SRT rooms to provide you with more information to help you get involved in this cause. Thank you.
Hey, what's up, Greyhounds? I'm here to tell you guys about the next hockey game. It is this Saturday, so tomorrow at 2:15 at the State Fairgrounds. We're going to be playing the Bloomington Blades, and it's our cancer awareness game. And it's part of the Drop the Puck organization. You may have heard of it. They have a fraternity tournament down at IU that a lot of them compete in, and tickets will be available at fuel.isportstix.com, or check any of the hockey players' social media pages. It'll be all over there. It's going to be a great game. All the proceeds go to different cancer research organizations, including Riley Children's Hospital. So make sure you come out tomorrow, 2:15, State Fairgrounds. Thank you.
Good morning, Carmel High School. Just a reminder that next week is Red Ribbon Week, which is a week designated for you to stop and think about the positive decisions that you are making in your life.
Okay, so with that, on Wednesday next week, we're going to be wearing orange for anti-bullying, and then Thursday is going to be wear red for make a decisions, and then Friday is going to be wear blue and gold for Carmel Spirit.
Yeah. And one of the things that we do every year for Red Ribbon Week is decorate your doors. So SRT, remember to decorate your doors, and the winner gets pizza party for your whole SRT, maybe Chipotle, we don't know yet, so yeah.
And then also starting Tuesday next week, we will start to collect food for families in Carmel.
Yeah. Make good decisions and have a good weekend, guys.
Thanks.
Good morning, freshman and sophomore house members. You do have a house meeting today, 10:30, freshman cafeteria. Your teacher should have a roster sent to their email to dismiss you. See you there at 10:30. All right, you're good, JM. Yep, you're good. You're good. You're good. All right, a little bit this way. Yep, a little bit this way. Cool. What do you got there, man?
All right, it feels like bricks, but I think it's candy.
Well, I want a bag of candy. How am I supposed to get this bag of candy?
You got to get tickets.
Well, who do I buy a ticket from?
Well, that's a great question, Sam.
You know, I think that you got to buy it from cabinet and Senate members. So these tickets will be on sale all the way through this week up to next week, and we'll announce the winner on the announcements of who wins this raffle of a bag full of candy on Halloween. So make sure you're buying these $1 tickets. They're super cheap. The more you buy, the better chance you have of winning that much candy.
This much?
Buy those tickets, guys.
So here at CHTV, we've really been focused on diversifying our staff and finding new ways to work well together.
Here, bud, I'll help you.
Oh, thank you so much, man. The script is killing me.
Come on, Neil. Recycle.
I guess you could say he's a real center of our program here.
Welcome back to Carmel Sports. I'm Neil Walker Simmons.
And I'm John Michael Malloy, and we're glad to talk to you today about everything Carmel sports. The Hounds for basketball have gotten off to a great start.
Thank you for tuning in to your morning announcements.
As always, for more coverage from CHTV, visit our YouTube channel, CHTV Carmel Television, or follow us on Instagram at Carmel TV. For CHTV, this has been Morgan Millay
and Reagan Markland, signing off.
Have a fantastic weekend, Greyhounds. Seniors, please stay tuned for the Herff Jones cap and gown presentation.
Good morning. This is Ken Keltner with Herff Jones Company. We're proud to be in your school today at Carmel High School talking about graduation and caps and gowns. But before we get into that, I'm excited about the presenter here that's going to talk to you about what it means to achieve. Eddie Slukowski, please come forward. Eddie ran for Loyola University and broke the 4-minute mile record when he was in college. He's one of the world-renowned speakers and motivators in the United States. Today, without further ado, I introduce Eddie Sulkowski. Please enjoy him. We'll talk to you later. Eddie?
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it. Welcome, Carmel High School seniors and all the other students out there that might get a chance to see this. And to start things out, I want to take you back to when I was in high school. So in order to do that, we got to go back. We got to go way back. Way back to a magical time known as the 1980s. The 1980s. I had just finished my freshman year with straight C's. Thank you. And as you heard, I was a gifted runner. So at Hinsdale South High School in Darien, Illinois, I was the second best runner in the whole school as a freshman. But that year, it garnered me a nickname. I had a nickname and a reputation. They all called me Slack Man because I was the laziest kid on the team. And then summertime came, and summertime before sophomore year, I don't know how it was in your house, but my father had a rule that every kid in the family had to get a job. So I learned that summer I was really good at getting jobs. I was just bad at keeping those jobs. I got fired from every job I had that summer. Fired at Wendy's, fired at KFC, fired at Burger King, got a job as a dishwasher and got fired from that. Then my dad got me a job, one of his buddies who had a company, and I lasted only about a week on that job before he fired me. And after that firing, my father wanted to meet with me in his den. It was like a meeting with the Godfather. And I remember I walked in to his little den there, and my father, he looked at me and he said, "I understand you were fired today. Get in here. We got to talk." So I thought I was in big trouble. Thought my dad was going to yell at me, which he tended to do at times, but he didn't. He began to tell me a story about when he worked in corporate America. See, my father was a rising star at this one company, and he loved the boss that he had. The reason he ended up leaving was because he wanted to be home more. He was on the road all the time, and he wanted to be around more with his kids, so he started his own company. But before that, rising star in this company, loved the place he worked and loved his boss. He said, "Remember that old boss I used to have?" I said, "Yeah, wasn't he one of your heroes?" He said, "Yes." He said, "Did I ever tell you the story about how he created the company that I used to work for?" And I said, "No." He said, "Well, sit down and listen, because this is what's missing in your life." He said, "Son, my old boss's name was Ray, and Ray used to be a traveling salesman." I'm going to take you back, son, to the year 1954. Ray had just turned 52 years old. He decided he wanted to change his life and sell something different. He was a salesman selling paper goods. He wanted to sell something more exciting. On the market, he saw a new machine called the multi-mixer. This was a milkshake machine people had never seen before, and he wanted to sell this machine because he thought if he could do this, maybe one day he might reach his goal of becoming a millionaire. So he mortgaged his home, spent his entire life savings to become the Midwest distributor of the multi-mixer. He had no money left over for an office, so he had to do everything out of his car, driving around trying to get people to buy this machine. 6 months into it, he was worried he was going to go bankrupt because nobody was buying. Then one day, he gets a call from San Bernardino, California, and a restaurant out there orders 8 multi-mixers, biggest order Ray ever got. Ray said, "How many restaurants will this be for? Is it going to be 8 of them?" They said, "No, only 1. So Ray couldn't believe it. He's like, "I will deliver these to you personally. Give me about a week. I'll drive out there from Chicago," heads west. Gets to the address he's given about a week later and figures he must be lost because all he sees is a tiny restaurant sitting on a hill. He's thinking there's no way this little place wants 8 of these machines. So he goes inside. Says, "Gentlemen, are you the people that ordered these?" They said, "Yes, you must be Ray. Get those in here. We want to use those today." Ray couldn't believe it. Brings them in, sets them up, shows them how they work. Says, "Gentlemen, do you mind if I hang out here today and help you out, give you the service you deserve?" They said, "Hey, Ray, we would appreciate that." So Ray steps back, and they open their doors. And Ray is shocked at the incredible business this little place is doing. And then halfway through that day, Ray gets an idea. He has a vision. In his mind, in his imagination, he is able to envision this little restaurant all over America. So he waits patiently until the business day is done. When he finally closed the doors that night, Ray goes up to the 2 brothers that own the place. It's a family restaurant. He says, "Gentlemen, I want to make you an offer." Ray says, "I will give you $1 million if you give me the rights to this restaurant." Now, this is $1 million back in the 50s. Obviously, a lot of money back then. And they're shocked. And their first question to Ray is, "Why do you want to do this?" And Ray said, "Because I love what you have here. And I want to build one of these back in Chicago, where I'm from, and maybe in a few other spots. In order to do it the way I want to do it, gentlemen, I need to own it. $1 million is my offer. Well, the two brothers don't even hesitate. They said, sir, for $1 million, you have a deal right now. There was one major problem. Ray didn't have $1 million. He said, guys, I'm going to have to raise the money and get investors for this. They said, Ray, how long is that going to take? He said, well, I have no idea. They said, Ray, if it's going to take you a while to do this, we're going to want more money. Ray said, fair enough. Let's negotiate. Let's figure out a way we can make this work. And so they actually teamed up, and Ray's job was to go out there and get investments and try to open up restaurants, and he did that job. He did it so well that he raised enough money to one day come back and say, all right, gentlemen, I have the money you want. Let's do this deal. And they read over the contracts, and they said, everything looks great here, Ray. We'd like to know one thing, though. Before we sign this, what do you plan to call this place? And Ray said, I'm glad you asked me that, because with your permission, I want to keep the name you gave it, with one exception. Let's take the word brothers off the end of it. They said, you want to keep our name? He said, yes. They said, that would be our honor. And they signed that deal. And on that day, a restaurant called McDonald's was born. Now, my father was the first director of manpower development for the McDonald's Corporation, working down the hall from Ray Kroc, the man who started the franchise. And when my father finished his story to me, he was smiling from ear to ear, and he looked at me and he said, so son, do you understand why I'm telling you this story? And I said, nope. He said, son, think about it. The McDonald's brothers created McDonald's, but all they could see was what they had. They couldn't see the potential of what they could become. It took this traveling salesman who was selling milkshake machines to see the very first McDonald's and have the vision that this could be everywhere. He said, son, that's what's missing in your life. I never hear you talk about the future. You just finished freshman year with straight C's, when I know you're smarter than that. You just, one of the best runners they've seen in a generation around here, and yet after 1 year, you have a nickname and a reputation, slack man, which means you're the laziest kid on the team, and you think it's funny. And you just got fired from your 5th job this summer. My father looked at me in the eyes. He said, son, where do you think all these choices you're making are leading you? You are heading nowhere. And until you start thinking beyond where you are to where it is you want to be, you're going to be stuck. And I'll never forget that day before sophomore year began and what that meant for me as a human being, as a person, to begin to think beyond where I was to where I want to be. And so today we're here talking to you about the possibility of what your life can become. But so much of that lies within you and your imagination, the power within you to begin to believe in the possibility of what you can be. Now, here's why visualization and having that vision, that dream, that idea, whatever word you want to call it, I don't care. But having a vision for your life, why it's so important, is not for the fact that you may one day reach that vision. Because I'll be honest with you, most of my dreams in life have not come true. But some of them have. And the fact that they have tells us that these things are possible. That's what the belief in your vision can do for you. When you can visualize where it is you want to be, you begin to believe that it's possible. When you start to believe that it's possible, that triggers something in you in the present to do something about it, to begin to build it, to create it. And at Herff Jones, we are here to be part of that team to help you create a compelling future, a great future. And we know that education is such a key, and graduation is the launching point to the rest of your life. And we believe in you and want to see you do incredibly well. But the key here is for you to begin to believe in yourself. Because sometimes in life what we have to be able to do is discover things in our life that maybe we haven't discovered yet, to understand the possibility of what we can become, and then to help others do the very same thing. I've got 3 kids. My son Jack is now 15, my daughter Grace is now 13, and we just had a baby girl, Adeline, is 2 months old. And before I ever had children, one of my dreams was I wanted to be the head coach of a Little League baseball team. And so my son was born first, and when he turned 6 years old, he was eligible for T-ball. And so I remember I ran down to the park district to sign him up, and when I was doing so, the gentleman behind the registration table looked at me and he said, sir, we have a few spots left open for head coaches. Would you like to be one? I was like, oh, yeah. It's like, yes, I would love to be a head coach. It's my dream. And I said, but wait, what do you need for me to do that? He said, well, it's a 2-month commitment. Every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon, 4 p.m., you have practice with your team at Sunset Park. Every Saturday between 8 and noon, we have our games for 2 months. There's 8 of them. Now, at that moment, my heart just broke because this is what I do for a living. I've been doing this for 25 years, traveling the country, doing presentations. And today, what an awesome, unique experience to be doing this in a TV studio here at Carmel High School. But I go around giving these talks, and so I can't commit to all those days. I don't, today is what, a Friday? I was in Wisconsin yesterday. I was in Louisiana on Tuesday. This means I might not be here to be the head coach and to do what I need to do. So I said, sir, I would love to be that head coach, but I just can't commit to the days. But I still wanted to help and serve. That's a big part of what being the best you can be is about, service to others. And I said, can I be an assistant coach? And I'll help out as much as I can when I'm able to be there. They said, yeah, that'd be great. We'll put you and your son on the Orioles, report to the head coach at the first game. So I go up to the head coach at the first game. I say, hey, my name is Eddie. I'm here to be your assistant. He's holding a scorebook in his hand. He's like, yeah, I heard you were coming. He's like, do you know how to keep a scorebook? I said, yes, I do. He's like, here, that's going to be your job. When you're able to be here, I want you to write out what our team does throughout the season. That way we can track their progress. I said, no problem, I can do that. And I was lucky. I missed only one game due to work. I missed a lot of the practices, but only one game. The first game, the Orioles, we lose by 17. Yeah, it was ugly. Second game, we lost by 15. Third game, we lost by 11. Fourth game was the game I missed. I came home that evening. I went to my son. I said, Jack, how'd we do? He said, we lost. I said, oh, really? How bad was it? 19. We lost by 19, Dad. Then my son looked at me and he said, Dad, I don't like T-ball. I looked at my son and I said, really? Why not? He goes, T-ball is boring. Now, if you've ever been to or played in a T-ball game, you know he's absolutely right. It is pretty boring. But I said, son, I know it's kind of slow, but you're just learning how to play the game. Don't worry, it gets better. He goes, but Dad, we never win. I said, son, you're 6 years old. It doesn't matter who wins. He goes, yes, it does. I go, don't worry, we're going to win. Next game, we lose by 17 again. Game after that, we lost by only 7. Seventh game, we lost by only 3. We're so close. Now we're in the final game. We are the only team that hasn't won. But it looks great for us because we're winning this game, 20 for us, 12 for the other team, and they're coming to bat for the last time. Now the reason why this looks great for us is because of the rules that we have is in T-ball, when you're 6 years old, if you can't make 3 outs before 9 batters bat, 9 batters is all you get. And when the 9th batter bats, you don't have to pick up the ball and throw it to first base. You just have to pick up the ball and race it to home plate. Inning stops right there. So typically the most runs you'll score in that format in an inning are like 7. And we're winning 20-12. Well, just before the last at-bats begins, the head coach on the other team calls timeout, walks across the field to our dugout where I'm standing there with our head coach. He says, gentlemen, I'd like to ask you a favor. And we're like, yeah. He said, well, it just dawned on me, if we get to 9 batters this inning, our 9th batter scheduled to bat is Matthew. Now, Matthew was a boy on their team that everybody knew. Matthew was physically challenged, and he had a hard time with walking and moving, so he used a walker that had wheels on it. And in our league, every kid plays no matter what, so when he goes out to the field, he took his walker with him and his glove and did the best he could. And every time he would bat, he would wheel up to the batter's box, he would hit the ball off the tee, and another kid on his team would be standing there waiting, and as soon as Matthew hit it, his teammate would run the bases for him. Well, the head coach asked us, since he's the last batter, if he gets up, could we allow him after he hits the ball off the tee to get down to first base on his own? He's never got to do that. We're like, oh, yeah, absolutely. If he gets up, we'll make sure that happens. He said, thanks, guys, I just wanted to check. And he goes back. Now, the odds of them getting 9 batters up don't look very good because we've been playing a great game, and our 2 best fielders are already in the 2 key spots, pitcher's mound, third base. That's basically where every kid hits the ball. And sure enough, they come to bat, and they're hitting the ball right by our 2 best fielders. Now, these 2 guys, instead of picking up the ball, throwing it to first, trying to make the play, literally start wrestling each other for every ball. And they're knocking each other over. They're whipping the ball up in the air. They're making error after error, so every kid is subsequently getting safely down to first base. So now the score is 20-17. Bases are loaded. Nobody's out. 9th batter, final batter, is coming to bat. Remember my job. I've got the scorebook. As I look down at the scorebook, it dawns on me, if little Matthew can hit a grand slam, they're going to beat us by 1. So I quickly called our head coach over. I said, hey, coach. He was really mad at our team, so he looks back at me and he goes, what? I said, do you realize if this batter gets a grand slam, they're going to beat us by 1? Then he yells at me, and he goes, I'm not concerned about that right now. He starts to walk away. Now I'm a grown man at a T-ball game. You don't get to yell at me. I said, hey, coach, come here. He walks over. He's like, what do you want? First, I need you to calm down and listen. If this batter, would you look? And standing in the batter's box with his walker and his bat waiting to bat is Matthew. If he hits a grand slam, they're going to beat us by 1. We want that to happen, don't we? And you can literally see the moment he sees what I see. He goes, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry I yelled at you. Umpire, timeout. Team, get in here. Team huddles up. Head coach goes, okay, team, here's the plan. When little Matthew hits the ball at that tee, no matter where the ball goes in the field, don't touch it. If we don't touch that ball, we don't have to bring it to home plate. This can allow Matthew to get around the bases. You got it? These are a bunch of 6-year-old little boys and girls. They don't even know what the score is. They're like, okay, bye, and they go back to their positions, and Matthew comes to bat. He raises his bat, steadies himself with his walker, and swings. And misses. They take the ball off the tee, place it on again. He swings again. He misses again. Now, if he misses 3 times, he's out. They take the ball off the tee, put it on a 3rd time, and this time with everybody collectively holding their breath, we watch as Matthew swings that bat for a 3rd time. And he hits the ball about 20 feet down the first base line. Now our catcher jumps up instinctively to go run toward the ball, and our head coach jumped on the field and went, stop! And the little boy stopped, and you can picture as Matthew, for the first time, drops his bat, grabs hold of his walker, and this is about as fast as he could go, but for the first time, he's valiantly making his way down to first base on his own. Now, by the time it takes Matthew to get down there, 1 run has scored, 2 runs have scored, 3 runs have scored. The game is tied at 20. Matthew reaches first base. He's standing there smiling until he starts hearing people yell to him, come on, Matthew, keep going, buddy, keep going, because the ball's sitting there. No one's touched it. Matthew's eyes open wide. He grabs his walker. He starts heading down to second. When he was halfway down to second, I was so proud of my son, Jack. Jack was playing second base, and he was like this, and Matthew was coming right toward him. When Matthew came right toward my son stepped out of the way and made a decision. He took his glove off, he dropped it to the dirt, and started clapping as little Matthew went by. That one decision by my son triggered everybody to follow his lead. And every kid in our team took their glove off and were cheering. The adults were going crazy. We're cheering so loud. And Matthew's making it to second now, and now he's heading to third, and everyone's screaming and going crazy. And this is the moment I'll never forget, because Matthew's father was sitting in the third base side over there. And when his son came around second, I guess he could no longer contain his excitement, because he jumped out of the stands, literally climbed over the fence to get on the field as fast as he could, ran up to third base where the third base coach just got out of the way, and everybody is staring at Matthew's father. You can clearly see the tears streaming down the father's face. He was crying, but he was also so excited for his son as he cheered him on, going, come on, buddy, yeah, you look great, come on, keep coming. Matthew gets to third, his dad screaming in his ear, go home and win the game, buddy. You got to go win the game. Now, Matthew wasn't crying. He was beaming. I'll never forget the sight of him heading home and his father marching behind him, cheering him all the way in. When Matthew got to home plate, as you can imagine, his whole team was out there waiting for him. And when he stepped on that plate, they mobbed him in a huge team hug. And then our team ran over so excited. All the kids were like, yay, Matthew. All of our kids ran over and were hugging Matthew. And I'm over by the dugout. I put the final score in the scorebook, 21-20. Yeah, by the numbers, we just lost again. But look at that celebration on that field, and you tell me who lost today. And I looked around at all the adults who are crying and hugging each other. All the kids are surrounding Matthew and cheering him on, and I realized what an incredible moment this was. What had to fall into place for this moment to have been possible. The score is 20-12. The only way that team wins that game that day is if every kid gets on base under our rules, all 9, and they all had to score. That's exactly what happened. So the score, the gap had to be exactly where it was, which it was. Our 2 best fielders are making mistake after mistake, errors, wrestling each other, which caused them to keep getting safe. And then finally, Matthew had to be in that one spot to be the hero, which he was. And then I thought back to the day I signed my son up. My dream to be a head coach. That's a dream that is still yet to come true. But what I learned from this is sometimes we have our dreams and our vision for how we want our lives to be. But I'm here to tell you, your job is to stay true to yourself and to know that the world might have a plan for you. So be open to it and know that if I'm doing the best I can in whatever I try to do, maybe the answers will come. Your vision, your dream is important. Your life, your voice. You have something to contribute to this world. Your education is such a key. Graduation is that launching point. And we believe in you and want to see you do incredibly well. But think about what you need to do to get yourself where you want to be. I ended up running that sub 4-minute mile and running for the U.S. track and field team. I won a gold medal against Russia and Great Britain. And then I got to work for CNN, and then I started doing this. And it all began back sophomore year. Before sophomore year, my father got me to start thinking about who I was beyond where I was, to where it was I wanted to be. Some dreams have come true, some have not. But my life has never been the same because now I begin to believe in the possibility of what could be. So good luck to each of you as you move forward, especially you seniors. We believe in you and want to see you do incredibly well. Thank you so much for all the good stuff that you do. One final thing I want to share. Did you know that in each of us, we have the ability to understand more deeply why we do what we do? So if I were to ask you 3 questions right now, I want you to respond by either standing or sitting out there, okay? And when I ask the question, you're either going to answer yes or no. If you're going to answer yes, I don't want you to say yes. What I want you to do is stand up. If you're going to answer no, don't say no, just stay in your seat. Question number 1. How many people out there can sing? If you're going to answer yes, stand up right now. If you're going to answer no, just stay in your seat. Look around, notice who's standing, who's seated. Okay, now everyone have a seat. Question number 2, how many people in here can draw? Notice who gets up, who doesn't. Question number 3, everyone have a seat. Question number 3, how many people in here can dance? And notice who gets up. All right, everyone have a seat. Now let me ask you this. In any of those 3 questions I just gave you, did I ask whether you could do any of those 3 things well or good? No. I asked you, can you do them? Think about what you did, how you responded. Because it came from a trigger inside of you. Your thoughts, your perspective, the way you see yourself in this world is playing a major role in how you are experiencing this world. Think about what you are capable of doing. Think about the possibility of what you could do if you no longer let your fear or your insecurities tie you down and keep you from being authentically who you are supposed to be. You have beauty within you. Part of what your life is all about is not only discovering that beauty, but learning how to share it with the world. And you seniors, that's what you are about to do. So right now, I want you to maybe close your eyes for a moment and begin to actually see yourself on graduation day. See yourself making that actually happen. See the whole ceremony in your mind. See your family there. See all your peers, your classmates, all gathered together. See yourself making your way to get that diploma. Hear that name. And walking up, shaking the hand, grabbing that diploma, moving that tassel from one side to the other. Can you see it? Because we know that if you can see it, you believe it's possible for you to get there. We know you can get there, but it's just the beginning. Where are you going to go from there? Think beyond where you are to where it is you'd like to be. The dreams, the hopes, the goals, and believe in the possibility. What if failure didn't exist? What would I try? How would I live? Right now we're going to bring back Mr. Ken Keltner, who's got a few announcements for you, but thank you all very much for the opportunity to come and share a little bit of my ideas with you. Thank you, Carmel High School. Good luck, seniors.
Thank you, Eddie. Congratulations. Great job.
Thank you.
Proud to have you in the building. Right now, I'd like to introduce Isaac Ronono, senior class president at Carmel High School. and his two class officers. Isaac, introduce them, please.
Hi, I'm Isaac, and this is Anna,
I'm Anna Morozov.
the vice president, and then this is Maddie.
I'm Maddie Dalton.
And then Noah Huber is our treasurer, but he's not here today.
And Rachel, would you come up here? Rachel, stand right next to me. Thank you. Rachel is wearing the graduation cap and gown. Today at Carmel High School, you're given a graduation package. The important thing is that you take the package home to the parents and decide what you need to order for graduation. Graduation is the most formal event in your life next to getting married. The most formal if you do not get married. So it's vital that you handle it with the right tools. Emily Post has rules of etiquette behavior. We carry those and cover those in our graduation packet that you were presented today during your period that just ended, during SRT. Next week, we'll be back Wednesday and Thursday to take graduation announcement orders. Today, we'll be set up in front of the Dale Graham Auditorium foyer. Isaac is holding the graduation announcement on display. The school crest is engraved on the announcement, and you will mail these out to relatives and friends, business and social circles, not only all over Hamilton County, but the state, the nation, and yes, the world. When people receive this announcement, they'll be impressed with the quality, not only of the stationery, the engraving, but the motto of the school and the graduation that you are experiencing. They'll be proud of you. You're not to flood the countryside with your announcements expecting to reap the rewards of lavish gifts. You'll send them out to friends and relatives, business and social circles. How many relatives you have, how many friends, and how many business and social circles, for you and your parents to decide. Take the packet home. Do not leave it in your locker. Don't leave it in your book bag. Take it home. Today we'll be outside the Dale Graham Auditorium, as I said, answering any questions for you. We want you to be the best you can be at the finest school in America today. Academically, we have 52 National Merit Scholarship finalists. The state of Indiana has 219. We have more state champions than any other school in the state. But our extracurricular activities far exceed those other events that I just talked about. Far exceed. Because when you have the dance marathon at Carmel High School and you raise $321,000 for the Riley Hospital, that shows where your heart is. We're proud to be in Carmel High School. We wish you the best. We'll see you today at Dale Graham, and next Wednesday and Thursday, you'll order your graduation announcements and your cap and gown. I thank you. Have a great day, and go Hounds.